Around everyone, it's time for my weekly queer book recommendation. When we are in luck, this week is one of my favorite reads from 2024. If you are new to this series, I have 3 other videos discussing some of my all-time favorite queer reads. They're all sapphic. This week again, we have another sapphic one. Today, we are discussing Sunburn. I don't feel like it got enough of the hype that it deserved, so we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about it today, and I'm gonna convince you that if you haven't read it yet, you need to immediately add it to your list. Sunburn is a book about Lucy, who is in her senior year of high school. It is the early 90s in a small Irish village. She has a bunch of best friends. She doesn't relate to all of them, being boy crazy. She doesn't feel like she can imagine her future married to a man. So I'm sure if you're listening to this, you are familiar with that feeling. Lucy knows she's different, but she doesn't know exactly how or why. Eventually, Lucy realizes that she is kind of low-key obsessed with one of her best friends, and she doesn't know what it means until the infatuation and kind of obsession is returned. And they spend the summer kind of experiencing that first emotional relationship with somebody else and it being with each other. It's important to remember that these are girls who are growing up in the early 90s in a small Catholic, really religious Irish village. Basically feel like they're living a double life where they are hiding their relationship. It comes to a point where the summer's almost over, they've graduated high school, and back at this time, it was either like go and get married, figure out what your next steps are. You have to kind of get out of the house. She has to decide between outing herself and being with this best friend of hers, or deciding to end up with the guy that her family wants her to end up with and the guy that's been chasing her since high school. It starts out as young adults, but it then goes into the future, ends up showing you what she has chosen. This book I felt like did such a good job in representing what it felt like to come out and what it felt like to battle with yourself. And I had a lot of internalized homophobia and a lot of comp het built into my coming out experience. And having a book kind of represent that and make a story around it made me feel so seen and so valid. So I loved this book. I ate it up so quickly. I feel like it's such an important read if you are somebody who can relate to religious trauma or familial influence on coming out or any of those things. Read the description, see if it fits for you. I rarely reread books, but this is one I would love to reread again just because it made me feel so many feels and made me feel a little bit healed for my younger self. That is this week's recommendation. If you guys have any book recommendations you want to give me, please let me know. You can follow me on Goodreads or Fable on there as Kate Austin. And yeah, until next week, bye.